I'm focused, man.
I've seen the devil down sunset, in every place, in every face.
Tell me, do you see her? She's living her life, even if she acts like she don't want the limelight. But if you knew her, she lives her life. She calls her paparazzi, then she acts surprised. Oh, I know what she needs. She just want the fame, I know what she thinks. Give it little taste, running back to me. Put it in the face, pray it's all to keep. Ooh, every night. She breaks to the sky, flashing lights. It's all she ever wants is begging on her knees to be popular. That's a dream to be popular. Kill anyone to be popular. Sell her soul to be popular. Popular, just to be popular. Everybody scream 'cause she popular. She mainstream 'cause she popular. Never be free 'cause she popular. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Try to for me 'cause you know I'm popular. Try to for me 'cause you know I'm popular.
I know that you see me, time's gone by. Spend my whole life running from your flashing lights. Try to own it, but I'm alright. You can't take my soul without a fight.
Oh, I know what she needs. She just wants the fame, I know what she thinks. Give it a little taste, running back to me. Put it in her face, pay yourself to keep. Ooh, every night. She breaks to the sky, flashing lights. It's all she ever wants is begging on her knees to be popular. That's a dream to be popular. Kill anyone to be popular. Sell her soul to be popular. Popular, just to be popular. Everybody scream 'cause she popular. She mainstream 'cause she popular. Never be free 'cause she popular. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Try to for me 'cause you know I'm popular. Try to for me 'cause you know I'm popular. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Try to for me 'cause you know I'm popular. Try to for me 'cause you know I'm popular.
I've seen the devil down sunset, in every place, in every face.
Tell me, do you see her? She's living her life, even if she acts like she don't want the limelight. But if you knew her, she lives her life. She calls her paparazzi, then she acts surprised. Oh, I know what she needs. She just want the fame, I know what she thinks. Give it a little taste, running back to me. Put it in the face, pray it's all to keep. Ooh, every night. She breaks to the sky, flashing lights. It's all she ever wants is begging on her knees to be popular. That's a dream to be popular. Kill anyone to be popular. Sell her soul to be popular. Popular, just to be popular. Everybody scream 'cause she popular. She mainstream 'cause she popular. Never be free 'cause she popular. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Money on top of me, money on top of her.
All right. We're back. Let's talk about HEX, baby. Volume 12. Yeah, I actually need to correct that because I think I have volume 11 up everywhere. So let me change that quickly. This is volume number 12. So, haven't done a live stream. I don't even know how long now. It's been a while. Been very busy. Needless to say. However, things have not changed that much as far as what we're doing here in the crypto space with HEX. In this stream I've been talking about doing for a while now. I meant to come on like an hour and a half ago, but I couldn't. I was doing other shit. But anyway, I'm here now. I'm gonna do the stream and get this documented so that we have this in the library of content. So for those of you that are unfamiliar now with HEX, if you haven't heard of PulseChain by chance or PulseX, you're not alone. There are many people that have no idea what these things are. So what I'm going to talk about in the stream this evening is what I'm doing specifically with HEX and also with the entire HEX ecosystem. So HEX is a crypto. It is a decentralized crypto, to be more specific, that the best way I can define it or explain it or describe it would be it's like having Bitcoin at the beginning stages of Bitcoin, the early days of Bitcoin, when people were not that familiar with what it was. People were skeptical about it. People didn't know what crypto was. Like, people just didn't know what anything was really in the space. But you, of course, always have those who take the time to educate themselves on what something is so that they can see the opportunity in it. So we have Bitcoin. And in fact, Bitcoin is right now, as of late, at the very beginning, well, no, I'm not going to say the beginning, but the bull market is kind of just beginning for crypto again. If you have not been tracking Bitcoin, Bitcoin has recently been making new all-time highs. In fact, the most recent all-time high that it made was just the other day. What day was that? March? Well, actually, was that today? No, it couldn't have been today. Maybe that was today. The 14th? Yeah, that was today. Oh shit. I didn't even realize. Okay, but anyway. So today it actually hit a high of 73,794. So close to 74,000 at the high. That's a new all-time high hit today. It has been moving lower throughout the day from that point. So I think right now it's trading around 68,000, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, as you're listening to these numbers, you know, you hearing me talk about 70,000, 68. The previous all-time high from the last bull cycle was 68,000 or so, 69,000, something like that. Bitcoin, of course, went through the bear market cycle, which is what all markets go through, and crypto in particular goes through bull and bear cycles on a schedule. Literally, it's every 4 years. Every 4 years, you have the birth of the next bull market and the time counting up to the next 4 year bull cycle. You have the bear market or the bear cycle. And the bear cycle is just simply when the prices of cryptos, or in particular, I'll talk about Bitcoin, when the price of Bitcoin goes down. And people still don't get it, because if I just take me and what I've been talking about over the course of the last several years, I've literally been telling anyone who would listen to buy Bitcoin every week. Now, understand that I'm going back a little. I'm going back before the beginning of last year, which is when I began to buy HEX. Before HEX, before I knew about HEX, the only crypto that I was buying was Bitcoin. I did have some Ethereum, but what I just would do is just buy Bitcoin every week. That's it. Now, the previous all-time high was around 69,000, and that took place 3 years ago, November 7th, 2021. From November 7th, 2021 to right around November of 2022, the price of Bitcoin went from 69,000 and it went to a low of 15,700 and change. 69,000 at the high, 15,000 at the low. In a year. If you're buying Bitcoin every week, it means you're just buying as the market price is going down. Why? Why would you be buying when it's going down? And I'm just using this as a segue into what I'm going to get into about HEX. I'm telling folks that I'm buying Bitcoin every week. And that's literally what I'm doing. Now, mind you, I've been buying Bitcoin way before this, but I'm using this time period as an example of a bear cycle and why the bear cycle is so important as far as your accumulation of assets. When prices are going down is when you should be buying. I remember vividly in 2021 when Bitcoin was going up and it was in the 50,000, then it hit 60,000, then it went to 65,000, then it went to 69,000. All of that time period leading up to the high at 69,000, as Bitcoin was moving up, I was getting phone calls. People telling me, Mark, I'm buying Bitcoin. Now, mind you, I had been talking about Bitcoin since it was $600 or $700. This is how far back I'm going. And my message has always been the same: buy Bitcoin every week. I literally created a domain, a URL. It was www.buybitcoineveryweek.com. And where that URL would bring you is to the podcast that I did talking about Bitcoin. The way that you accumulate an asset is over time and through consistent buying. There's another term used for it. It's called DCA, which is dollar cost averaging, which is basically you not worrying about what the price is. You just buy every week, every 2 weeks, however often you can basically buy the asset with the same dollar amount. So let's say that you want to commit to buying $50 worth of the asset every week. You commit to it. So every week you buy $50 worth, regardless of what the price is. Now, what this does is it allows you to accumulate the asset over time. Once you have the asset, then the price appreciation of the asset makes more sense to you and is profitable for you because you've created an actual base at various prices, especially and in particularly when the market has been going down in price. So in other words, throughout the bear market or the bear cycle, throughout the time when the prices are going down, that's when you should be buying. But human behavior is so predictable that we know people won't do that. They ain't gonna do it. The prices will be going down and they'll be saying, oh, Bitcoin is finished. Bitcoin is this. Bitcoin is that. Oh, it's going to 10,000 now. Then it's going to go to 4,000 again. No, it went down to 15,000 a year from the all-time high. That's as low as it went. It's not going to go any lower than that. The same way in the previous bear cycle, whatever that low was, it hasn't gone back down there. So there is continuous cycles that occur in markets, and crypto is no different. Now, with crypto in particular, crypto is a space where the volatility is high. So there are extreme variations between the prices. You'll have X's, meaning if I just use Bitcoin as an example, Bitcoin has done something like a 6.5 million X from the price that it was at its inception up to now. Closer now to a 7 million X because it went to 70,000. But when you look at the declines or the drops in price, the declines can be as much as 90%, 95%, 98, 99% price declines. And this is what scares people because they're like, oh man, oh, it's all over. I lost everything. And people have this way of thinking because they'll be buying when the price is going up instead of accumulating when the price is going down. So that principle applies to any asset that you're buying, any asset that you want to accumulate and have in your possession over time, over a period of time. This is how you could have become wealthy through Bitcoin. You could have become wealthy through Ethereum just by simply buying them every week. So anyway, I want to shift now into talking about HEX in particular, because now the cycle that we're in for crypto is the beginning of the bull cycle. And I'm saying the beginning because we're just moving into it. In April is the Bitcoin halving. That's the schedule. From the Bitcoin halving date, 12 to 18 months after that will be the high for Bitcoin. The next high that it goes to, the next all-time high that it hits, it will occur over the course of the next 12 to 18 months after the halving. Why am I saying that? Because that's what it historically has been doing. Very simple. And history repeats itself. And people, every cycle, they say, oh, no, it's not going to do that. Okay. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to believe it. But whether you believe it or understand it or not, it does it. In addition to what Bitcoin does, you have what are called altcoins. And altcoins are just simply all the other coins that are not Bitcoin and that are not Ethereum, because they basically are the two strongest cryptos in the world, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin representing the store of value, Ethereum representing smart contracts where you can actually build protocols and build smart contracts or coins that perform some type of functionality. This is why HEX was built on Ethereum. And now I'm moving into HEX. So with HEX, what we've had is several things take place. The first thing is HEX was launched in December of 2019 on the Ethereum network. Why on Ethereum? Because HEX is a smart contract. It is a code that is built and designed to create more HEX through a functionality that we call staking. Okay? And what this means is that you can stake the liquid HEX that you've purchased, and you can push that HEX into a future date and along the way accumulate yield as a percentage. So it's basically like you're saying, all right, I'm gonna stake my HEX for 5 years. Cool. Over the course of the next 5 years, your HEX that you're staking is going to be producing more HEX as a percentage of the amount of HEX that you staked. And that percentage increases the longer out that you stake. So if you stake for 5 years, it'll be what it is. If you stake for 10 years, it'll be higher yield that you earn. If you stake for 15 years, it'll be an even higher yield that you earn. So on, so on and so forth. So right now I'm explaining what HEX is and what it's designed to do. So HEX is designed literally to produce more of itself through staking or through minting, whatever you want to call it. So now with HEX, it was built originally on Ethereum. The founder of HEX, or the creator of HEX, Richard Hart, began to see and realize that Ethereum has high network fees. This is what you call gas fees. The gas fees on Ethereum are high, which means that in order for someone to transact with a smart contract or with a coin on the Ethereum network, it's expensive. Because the higher that the price of Ethereum goes, the more expensive the gas becomes. So now what's happening in crypto? Prices are moving higher. Bitcoin and Ethereum are going up. So if Ethereum is going up, that means that the gas fees are going up. Now, the founder realized this about Ethereum years ago. And what he did was he committed to building a copy of Ethereum that would allow the fees to be tremendously less to transact on than the fees on Ethereum. So his idea was, I'm going to take Ethereum and copy it. The whole network, everything on it, meaning every coin on the Ethereum network. And we know that HEX is on what? Ethereum. So that means that when you copy the Ethereum network and you create that copy over here, everything that's on Ethereum is going to be over here on the network that you copied. The name of that network is called PulseChain. So PulseChain is the copy of Ethereum for the purpose of lowering the fees. It begins to get crazy if you're a smaller investor and you only have a few $100s to invest to begin with, to buy something like HEX on Ethereum. If you got $100 that you want to spend for buying the HEX, but the gas fee is $50, you're only getting $50 worth of HEX. So I'm breaking this down so that you understand, well, why would he copy Ethereum? This is why. Because his coin that he created, HEX, is on Ethereum, and the fees on Ethereum are too much. And not only are they too much, they'll keep going up because the price of Ethereum is going to keep going up. What happens when Ethereum is twice as expensive as it is now? The Ethereum now is what, 4,000? I think it dipped a little lower than that. But it'll break its all-time high as well. I think the all-time high is 4,800 or something like that. It's going to go above that. What happens when Ethereum is $6,000? What's the gas fees going to be then? This is his thought process when he created PulseChain. Like, oh shit, damn. I need to prepare for what's going to happen because these things are going to go up. Yeah. Now, in spite of this whole issue with Ethereum having the high gas fees, guess what HEX still did? Before the launch of PulseChain, before he copied Ethereum, guess what HEX did? HEX did a 10,000x. It did a 10,000x from its low price. If you use the sacrifice price or the sack rate that they call it, it did a 5,000x from the sack rate. Sack rate is 3 zeros and a penny. So 0.0001. That's the sack rate. HEX went as high as 50 cents in price. And it did this in spite of the entire Ethereum high gas fees. So understand that he was forward thinking and preparing for, well, what happens when Ethereum gas fees become more expensive. Every time that you transact on Ethereum, you got to pay gas. So this means that every time that you want to create a stake or you want to end the stake that you created already, you have to pay that gas fee or that transaction fee on the Ethereum network. It's called the network fee. You got to pay that to transact on the network. So every time you stake, you pay gas. Every time that you end the stake, you pay gas. Every time you buy HEX, you pay gas. Any transaction you do on Ethereum, you got to pay the network fee. And the network fee over time has just been becoming more and more and more expensive, to the point where the gas fees are so high, you could be ending a stake that you set up however long ago, and the cost of the gas fee is more than the actual value of the HEX that you're going to collect as a result of ending the stake, which makes no sense. Why would you pay more for the HEX to end that stake that you set up? Why would you pay more money than the stake is worth? Doesn't make sense. So this is the issue that arises as a result of HEX being on the Ethereum network. Now, let's shift into PulseChain. PulseChain, the copy of Ethereum. PulseChain launches May 12th of last year, 2023. May 12th. PulseChain now has every copy of every coin that was on Ethereum. including HEX. So guess what you receive when PulseChain launches? You receive a copy of all the HEX that you have on Ethereum. Not just the liquid HEX, but the stakes too. So if you had stakes on HEX on the Ethereum side before PulseChain launched, after PulseChain launched, you have the exact same stakes. You have the exact same amount of coins that you had on the Ethereum side for your HEX. And of course, whatever other coins that you have on Ethereum. But I don't care about none of them. The only thing I'm concerned about is HEX. So my point is that all the HEX that you had on Ethereum, you now have a copy of it on PulseChain. And ever since PulseChain launched, now when you do your transactions on PulseChain, the gas fees are minuscule in comparison to the gas fees on the Ethereum side. So this is how, at this point now, you have two hexes. You got HEX on Ethereum and you got HEX on the copy, which is PulseChain. Ethereum HEX, PulseChain HEX. They're both HEX. But the PulseChain HEX, remember, any transaction that you do on PulseChain is a fraction. A fraction in comparison to transactions that you do on the Ethereum network. So now what this does is it creates a scenario where, okay, well, we still got HEX over here on Ethereum. So what are we doing with this? What are we doing with this HEX over here? We just hold on to the HEX. See, what happens is HEX on the Ethereum network, even though at this point it makes no sense to do anything as far as staking because it's too expensive. The gas fees are too high. And we're not even in the bull market yet. We're at the beginning of it. So the gas fees will just continue to go higher. So if you want to begin to buy HEX, just as an example, and people are going to want to buy HEX, make no mistake about it. Once people realize what HEX is, they're going to want to buy it. Now, when you want to buy HEX, you can buy HEX on the PulseChain network versus buying it on the Ethereum network where it costs too much to buy. Am I making sense? So now on Ethereum, for you to try to go to Ethereum and buy HEX makes no sense because it costs too much money. And the other day, was it yesterday? Either yesterday or the day before, this is what Richard Hart literally said in a tweet. He said, all right, well, the HEX on the PulseChain is the real HEX. Why is he saying that? He's saying that because Ethereum has high gas fees and you can't do anything with the HEX on that side that makes sense at this current time. Now, we don't know what Ethereum will do in the future. Maybe in the future they'll lower the fees. Who knows? But it doesn't matter because at this point now, you don't have to do any staking of any type on the Ethereum side. So whatever stakes you got, you got. I got stakes on the Ethereum side for HEX. I got 5 and 10 year stakes. 5 and 10 years from now, who knows what will be going on with the gas fees on Ethereum. And who knows what the price of HEX will be, because there are going to still be people that are going to be buying HEX. They're going to buy HEX everywhere. What do I mean by that? They're going to buy Ethereum HEX. But guess what? You don't have to buy Ethereum HEX on Ethereum. Uh-oh. See, and this is, I don't want to confuse you guys. But Ethereum HEX you can buy on PulseChain. So listen to me carefully. On PulseChain, on the copy of Ethereum, you can buy the HEX on PulseChain, and you can buy the HEX from Ethereum on PulseChain. Now think about that for a moment, because what this does is it leaves the opportunity open for HEX, period. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, HEX on Ethereum is dead. No, it ain't. It can't die. The contract is there and it exists. You have people that have stakes. Not only that, the Ethereum network, who knows what the future holds as far as gas fees. What happens if they lower the gas fees and it becomes affordable to transact again? And you got hundreds of thousands of people holding HEX on the Ethereum side. Not to mention, you can still buy that HEX on PulseChain. So this is how this works. The HEX from Ethereum is on the PulseChain side. You just can't stake the HEX from Ethereum on the PulseChain side. You can only stake the PulseChain HEX, or what everyone is calling the real HEX. You can stake that on PulseChain. But you can buy EHEX or Ethereum HEX on PulseChain as well. You just can't stake it on PulseChain. You can only stake that HEX on the native network that it is on. So it's actually on Ethereum, but we're able to buy it over here on the PulseChain side. Because what happens is there's something called a wrap. So for example, on PulseChain, you got wrapped Bitcoin. What does that mean? Well, wrapped Bitcoin is Bitcoin wrapped up on this network. So the same thing will apply to any other coin. On the PulseChain network, you can transact with all of these different coins that came from Ethereum. You can transact with coins that are wrapped from any other network. So wrapped Bitcoin is on PulseChain. Wrapped Ethereum is on PulseChain. Wrapped HEX is on PulseChain. This is the HEX I'm talking about. So when I say that you can buy Ethereum HEX on PulseChain, it's wrapped HEX or wrapped Ethereum HEX. That's over here on PulseChain as well. So again, I'm not trying to confuse you guys. I'm going through this so that when you watch this back, you'll understand the ecosystem better. Because a lot of people are confused and they're like, oh, well, which one should I be buying? Listen, the PulseChain HEX you can buy. The PulseChain HEX you can stake on PulseChain. The wrapped HEX from Ethereum you can buy. But the wrapped HEX from Ethereum you cannot stake on PulseChain. But you still can buy it. So there's still bonded liquidity between that same HEX from Ethereum on the PulseChain network. And bonded liquidity means that all of the pairs, or I should say all the coins, are interconnected. So what happens is that they kind of all move up and they all move down simultaneously. The only thing that happens is that they have a ratio. So, for example, you might have a ratio between Pulse and HEX of 1 to 50. Like, I'm just using arbitrary numbers. For every 1 HEX, you get 50 Pulse. That's a ratio. So, because these coins are bonded together on the PulseChain network through liquidity, what happens is the ratios will hold more than likely, unless there's just a big deviation from the ratio. And of course, there can be that. But my point is that if it's 1 HEX for 50 PulseChain, if the price of HEX doubles and it's bonded through liquidity to Pulse, When Hex doubles, so does Pulse. It just will double at the ratio. So for 50 Pulse, you're getting 1 Hex. But as price moves together, or I should say as price moves up or down, so does the actual coins in tandem. This is the dynamic of markets. This is why when you look at the ecosystem and you look at the coins, it looks like they all be up or down together. This is why. On the PulseChain, you also have another token. It's called incentive token. Incentive token is literally just a token that was created to reward to reward people who provide liquidity on the PulseChain network. So for example, if you have Pulse and Hex, you would be rewarded in incentive token. So the incentive token is like a token given to you because you're providing liquidity for these different coins. It's like a reward. But guess what? The incentive token is a coin. That means people buy it and sell it. So now the incentive token is also part of the ecosystem. But I'm not going to get all into incentive token. I'm just mentioning it because you will see it like how you see it on the screen now. It's a part of the ecosystem. That's why it's on there. So you got Pulse, you got PulseX, you got the incentive token, and then you have HEX. So what I'm doing with HEX, and this is what I'm doing. I am accumulating HEX basically all the time. How do I do that? The website PulseLN, and if you look underneath the video, you'll see at the very top there's a link. That's the PulseLN link. If you're in the US, you'll need to use a VPN to access that site. So make sure that you do have a VPN before you access the site and use it. But basically what it allows you to do is you can take any coin, well, not any coin, but you can take the major coins. So let's say Bitcoin or Ethereum. I can take my Bitcoin or I can take my Ethereum and I can use that to buy Pulse. Once I have Pulse, I now can use that Pulse and swap that for HEX. I can use that Pulse and swap that for PulseX. I can use it, and if I wanted to, I can swap it for the incentive token. I can swap it for any of these tokens. So Bitcoin to Pulse, and then Pulse to whatever I want to get. So what I'm doing is I'm taking Bitcoin and Ethereum and I'm buying Pulse. And then I'm using that Pulse to buy more HEX on PulseChain. Why? Why am I buying the HEX on PulseChain? Because we can stake the HEX on PulseChain. See, this is what HEX was created to do. So what I'm doing is I'm staking all of my liquid HEX on PulseChain every 30 days. This is what I'm doing. And let me kind of explain why I'm doing that. And during the process of me accumulating more and more more and more HEX, excuse me. As I continue to build my bag of HEX on PulseChain, because I can stake it, the bigger my bag is, the bigger the yield will be. So I'll give you an example. And let me see if I can, wait, do I even have that picture? I did have a picture. Yeah, I do have a picture. Let me see if I can open this and share it. I may not be able to share it. Let me see. This computer's so slow, it's crazy. All right, let me see if I can share it. If I can share this, I'll show you all this real quick. Let me see. Present. Wait, but when you do slides have to be. Can slides be a picture? Yeah, slides should be able to be a picture. Let me see if it comes up. Damn. I hate when it does this. All right, let me do one thing. I should be able to save it as a PDF. And if I save it as a PDF, then it'll allow me to look at it through the slide. So let me try that real quick. So, I mean, and as I'm doing this, let me just mention the ability to stake HEX is powerful shit. Let's just do some math quickly. So, I did a stake for 100,000 HEX. This is just liquid HEX that I have sitting in one of my accounts. 100,000 HEX staked for 30 days. It produced roughly about 684 HEX, right? Now for 684 HEX, and I don't know why this thing is moving so slow. I don't even know if it's gonna do it. It may not even do it. I don't think it's gonna do it, but whatever. So 684 HEX, 100,000 HEX produced a yield of 684 HEX in 30 days. If you look at what you can get with 684 HEX, you can do a number of things. So let's say that you took that HEX and you just staked it long term. Just do a Hail Mary and stake it for 15 years. That's what I did. And literally every 30 days, I can throw out a stake. So what I've been doing, and I just started doing it, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw out one for 15 years, throw out one for 14 years, throw out one for 13, one for 12, one for 11. So each month or every 30 days, when my yield comes back, I'm going to stake it. And I'm creating a ladder of time and stakes. Some of y'all are familiar with ladders and, you know, the benefit of doing that. It basically means that by you doing that, it's like every year you'll have HEX that comes out of a stake. So out of nowhere, HEX is there waiting for you because of what you staked years ago. And who knows what the value of HEX will be in these later years. We talking about 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9 years from now. Who the hell knows? Who knows? What if HEX is $10 10 years from now? What if it's $100? See, and you guys, you can't think that it's not ever going to happen. It might happen. And if you're positioned to benefit from everything that it might do, it puts you in the best position long term based on what currently is available in the marketplace. HEX is the best thing that's here. It is what it is. And PulseChain was created for HEX. See, I want people to understand, like people are trying to pick and choose which one. Oh, should I buy PulseChain or should I buy HEX? You should get them both. Well, what about PulseX? Should I get that? Yes, get that too. Get them all. Why? Because the key is HEX. PulseChain was made so that we can do these stakes with HEX and not pay ridiculous fees like what we would have to pay on the Ethereum network. It's too expensive. The gas fees are too high to use HEX on Ethereum at this current time. And it was inevitable. Imagine if PulseChain was never here. We would be on Ethereum trying to unstake, trying to end the stake, and you paying hundreds of dollars, $50 to end the stake, and the stake is not necessarily even worth that much. It doesn't make any sense. So this is the forward thinking of Richard Hart, the creator of HEX. He was thinking ahead, and he positioned everything in the HEX ecosystem to benefit HEX. So now, like I said, you can take this HEX that produces the yield. Like I said, I take that 600 whatever HEX each month, stake it. What else can you do? What else can you do? You could also, and let me see if I can share this. Hopefully I can share this site. I should be able to share this because it's a site. So I should be able to just switch the tab. Let me see if I can. This shit is so slow. Oh my gosh. All right, let me see if I can share this tab real quick. Let me see if I can share this tab. All right, cool. Now, y'all see this? This is the PulseX app called the DEX. And the DEX just simply means decentralized exchange. So this is how you can exchange one coin for another. So let's say that I have HEX. So I go over here and I select HEX. Now you see how there's two in here? One says HEX, one says HEX from Ethereum. The HEX from Ethereum is what I was explaining earlier. The HEX on the Ethereum network, but you can actually buy it on PulseChain. So everything that you see here is on the PulseChain network. So now I want to look at HEX on PulseChain. So it's just HEX. So I select that. And let's just see how much. Let's see how much PulseX we can get for 684 HEX, because 684 HEX was the yield that I earned over 30 days. And hopefully this will pull up. There it is. So I can take that same 684 HEX and I can buy 153,000 PulseX. Do you see what's happening here? Think about this. I'm using the yield from staking HEX, the interest. I'm using the interest from a 30-day stake to buy PulseX. So if I just did that, that means every month I could buy some PulseX. And right now it's 153,000. Last week when I looked, it was more. So of course that number's gonna fluctuate. That number will fluctuate. But Let me see if I can see how much it was last week. I had it over here in this chat. Let me see if I still have it up. Let me see if it comes up. Yeah, last week, and so this was March 7th. A week ago, it was 206,000 PulseX that I could have bought for the same amount of HEX. So this 684 right now buys me 153,000. Last week it was 208,000 that I could have bought. So you see how there's fluctuation in the ratio. So now my HEX gets me less PulseX, but I don't care. This is yield. I don't care what the ratio is. The point is this: I can literally every month take my liquid HEX and stake it for 30 days and then use the yield to buy something or to create a longer term stake. Because like I said, over the next 5 months, I'll just Hail Mary my yield out for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11 years and create a little ladder. Then for the next 5 months, if I want, I can just be buying PulseX. Then for the next 5 months after that, I could just be buying Pulse. Or I can buy incentive token. So do you guys see what I'm getting at? And what happens is the yield is going to keep increasing as the bag of HEX keeps increasing. So what am I buying each month or each week? Each week I'm buying HEX. And I'm also inadvertently buying everything else in the ecosystem that I want to get. Because the bigger my liquid bag of HEX is on PulseChain, the more yield I'm going to earn. And that yield can be used to buy anything I want to in the ecosystem. Or it can be used to stake. So I can throw it out into the future if I want to, or I can buy something right now. This is like, see, what I'm sharing with y'all, some of y'all don't understand the value of this yet, but you will. You will. You're going to look back and you're going to be like, oh, shit. Damn. I remember when he showed us this. Wow. Look at the price of HEX now. Look at the price of Pulse now. Look at the price of PulseX. This is what y'all be telling me later. This is what you're going to be saying later. Let me look at Pulse real quick. Let's see how much Pulse we can get. So for the same 684 HEX, let's see how much Pulse we can get. 684 HEX currently buys you around 71,000 Pulse. This is how much Pulse I can get each month from the yield. Come on, man. Let's say I want to buy some incentive token. How much of that can I get? This is what I'm. See, I share some incredible stuff with you guys. I really do. Like I said, y'all don't understand the value of this yet. I can buy anything in the ecosystem. So 684 HEX gets me 1.3 incentive tokens from the yield. So as my bag of HEX grows, my yield grows. As my yield grows, the more of anything else I can buy increases. So if I double my bag of HEX, I'll double the yield, which means I'll double the amount that I can buy of any of these other tokens. Or I'll double the amount that I'm staking for however long. I pat myself on the back. What I'm sharing with y'all now is crazy. Let's say that I want to just buy HEX on Ethereum. Oh, Mark, why would you want to do that? Richard Hart said that HEX is to not do anything with HEX. Okay. But Richard Hart is not the market. Who's to say that HEX on the Ethereum network is not going to be worth something later on? Well, the price is down now substantially. That sounds like opportunity to me. I'm not telling you to do anything. But for me, I'm watching. I'm just looking. Matter of fact, let me see how much HEX from Ethereum I can get with my yield. Let's take a look just for the hell of it. So we change this to HEX from Ethereum. We change this to HEX on the PulseChain. And let's see how much 684 gets us. So 684 HEX on PulseChain will get you, and I don't know if this one is going to load. This was giving me problems before. It wasn't loading an amount. Yeah, it may not even load. Oh, it did. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So look at this. 684 HEX on PulseChain gets you 3,800 HEX on Ethereum. Hey, man. Hey, man. I was telling y'all before I wanted to get 1 million HEX. So let me see how. Let me see how much. So right now, 1 million HEX on Ethereum, $2,800. It only takes 179,000 HEX from PulseChain. Oh shit! Wow. I'm looking at this for myself. Y'all don't gotta pay me no mind at all. Don't pay me no attention. I'm just looking at this for myself. But this is the type of shit I look at. So to get 1 million HEX, 179,000 HEX from PulseChain to get 1 million HEX on Ethereum. Oh, but Mark, what if HEX keeps going down? I don't give a shit. If it keeps going down, guess what? I see that as opportunity. It's just me. It's just me. See, and another thing too that I've noticed. Usually the crowd is wrong. So if everybody's thinking one way, they're usually wrong. I'm just saying. But anyway, so this is what I'm doing with my HEX. And I just wanted to share this. I also wanted to kind of explain and educate folks on, what HEX is, what the difference is between HEX from Ethereum and HEX on PulseChain. HEX on PulseChain is the real HEX. HEX from Ethereum we can't do anything with currently because the prices of the gas fees or the gas fees, the cost to transact on the Ethereum network is too high to do anything. You can't stake, you can't end stake, you can't do nothing. So HEX is just sitting there. But that doesn't mean that HEX is not worth anything. See, that's what people have confused. Oh, it's dead over there. No, it's not. It's not dead. It may not be what HEX on PulseChain is, but it ain't dead. There's coins that do 2,000x, and it's like these coins do nothing. HEX produces more of itself, and the code is the same on both networks. And as I mentioned earlier, what if Ethereum get their shit together and start lowering the gas fees? Then what? and you got a bag of this hex over here. What happens then? Hey, don't pay me no mind. Don't pay me no mind. Affirmative. Affirmative. Sounds like there could be some opportunity to stack up on EHEX since it dropped, assuming whatever caused the drop will be resolved at some point. Yeah, because what caused the drop is people panicking from a tweet by Richard Hart. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see Twitter. Am I logged in on Twitter on this computer? I should be. Let me see. Richard Hart. Yeah, so Richard Hart when let me see. And this was a few days ago, so I'm just scrolling. I'm scrolling through his timeline to see if I can find it. He tweeting a lot now. He's saying a lot of shit. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, see, so okay, so and this is I'm just reading this particular tweet. This was after the HEX tweet. And this is the point I'm making. He says, do you like a new user paying $70 on average to swap into your coin? And that's cheap lately. Imagine if retail stores required you pay a $70 fee every time you wanted to buy an item. And then he says every project on Ethereum should consider moving to PulseChain. So you see what he's doing. He's trying to shift people's mindset away from Ethereum and paying such high gas fees. I think that inadvertently also what he's doing is he's putting pressure on Ethereum by doing this, because the more people who are aware that the fees are so high to do transactions over there, if you're a regular small investor, why would you pay such high fees to do a transaction on the network when there's an alternative to it? See, PulseChain is the alternative to Ethereum. This guy's very smart. I must say, he's very, very intelligent. And he does obvious shit, but he does obvious shit that regular people don't think about. Let me see. Look at this. He said, those who yelled at me for pointing out that HEX is better than EHEX should say sorry. The real question is, why weren't you saying it yourself? Oh, shit. Oh, man. I mean, he has a point. But see, the thing is that I never liked the idea of people picking, like saying, oh, well, I'm going to buy HEX on PulseChain. I'm not buying HEX on Ethereum. Okay, cool. You could do that. But what happened was, in the community of HEX, and I'm talking about people in the community that buy HEX and that are in favor of HEX and PulseChain and everything. You had people creating sides like, okay, we're team EHEX and we're team P. It's like, no, HEX is one thing. It's one system. That's like me saying, well, I'm only buying PulseChain. Okay, you can do that. But I'm not, see, you shouldn't be making it seem like, well, I'm buying PulseChain because PulseChain is going to outperform all the other ones. That's fine. But as I was mentioning earlier in the stream, they are all connected through liquidity anyway. So if one goes up, all of them are kind of all going up. The same way that if one goes down, it drags all the other ones down. EHEX dropped tremendously after his tweet. And as a result of people selling that and end staking and trying to get out of it, it's like it just was silly shit going on. There was an overreaction to the tweet. This is why EHEX went down in price. People overreacted. He didn't do anything. All he did was make a tweet. There were even people lying saying, oh, well, he's selling EHEX. It was a rug pull. What are you talking about? He didn't sell anything. See, you forget that on a blockchain, it's a chain, it's a ledger. You can see the transactions, dummy. You can actually see all the transactions. So you can see what wallet did what. He hasn't bought or sold anything on EHEX as far as the Ethereum HEX goes at all. What happened is there was an overreaction to his tweet. And people started selling their EHEX. Why? Why would you sell if the fee is higher than what you're selling the damn HEX for? It doesn't even make any sense. Just sit down and relax. Just sit down. And if you're smart, you just might accumulate more just in case. See, this is how I think. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm not giving you advice on shit. I just simply share what I do. My thought process is naturally going to be, well, this is HEX. Any way you look at it, it's still HEX. Okay, it's on a network where the fees are high. Okay, cool. But what if one day the fees are not high? What if one day the fees are low enough for you to make it worth your while to actually transact and the stake? What if 5 years from now, your 5-year stake is worth something nice because the whole ecosystem has been going up and has been dragging EHEX up with it? Uh-oh. Right now, the ratio of HEX to EHEX is 1-6 or 1-7, something like that. Prior to the tweet, it was 1-1.8. So not even 1-2, meaning that the price of HEX on PulseChain was around 2 cents, and the price of HEX on Ethereum was around 1 cent. After the tweet, price of HEX on PulseChain around 1.8 cents. Price of HEX on Ethereum 0.003 cents. So now it's 7 times less than the HEX on PulseChain. Cool. So now we got that kind of ratio. That sounded a little crazy to me because I'm looking at that shit like, whoa. So how much is a million HEX now? I just saw what it was. It was $20-some $100. $20-some $100. Oh, but Mark, what if it keeps going down? Let me tell you something. If that shit go down and I can get a million HEX for $1,000, I'm getting a million HEX, bro. I'm just saying, this is me. This is what I'm gonna do if that happens. I'm just saying. But again, I don't think like everybody else do. The same way that like how I was buying Bitcoin every week. Remember that? Remember that? I bought Bitcoin when it went and crashed during COVID, when it went below 4,000. Remember I told y'all in the car when I had the orange hoodie on? Remember that? I said, oh shit, Bitcoin is under 4,000. I'm buying more today. See, I don't think like everybody else do. I do weird shit. That's weird, Mark. Why? Oh my God, Bitcoin crashed and you bought? Yes, dummy. You see, the funny thing is that people look at me like it's something wrong with me for doing certain things. I'm like, well, you still don't get it. If you just did what I was telling you to do during COVID, you would have a bag of Bitcoin now. Now, during COVID, Bitcoin was under 4,000. Forget it, under 4,000, it was under 10,000. So if you bought anywhere under 10,000, and if you were just buying it every week, you could have used your PPP money to buy Bitcoin and just keep buying it. You could have been doing that if you were listening to me. Oh, man. Anyway. One thing I'm noticing about the HEX stuck stakes is that the payout drops. For example, my 30-day HEX, 43 past due was started with 10K, but payout is at 9,700. Yeah, because the amount of HEX becomes less and less. You get penalized for not end staking. But my suggestion is to just leave it. Excuse me. Whatever stakes that you had that were that small, excuse me. And of course, small is relative. Those HEX stakes, just let them bleed out. Why am I saying that? Because you could buy the same amount of HEX now for what you would be trying to spend on the gas fee to end stake for that amount of HEX. Let's look at something. How much is 10,000 HEX now? Let me change this to let's use USDC. So right now, for you to get 10,000 HEX is $29, if I'm seeing that correctly. Right here, it's around $29. The fee to end the stake of 10,000 HEX is how much? 70. So why would I spend $70 to get 10,000 HEX back when I can just spend $29 to get 10,000 HEX right now? Am I making sense? And I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Okay, so it's $40. Same thing, same question. So Walker's saying that to end the stake is $40. Okay, so it costs more to end the stake than it costs to just buy 10,000 HEX. Which one makes more sense to do? So literally right now you could buy for $40 more HEX than you would be receiving for ending the stake. Just leave it and let it bleed out. So a lot of times opportunity is born from bullshit. People were so upset. Oh, why would he say that? Why is he trying to destroy HEX? And why did he kill HEX? Blah, 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 blah. He's a man. He's one dude. He is not the market. The market is what decides what anything does. And markets have cycles, and markets move up and down and have volatility. And when something is created to do something, that's why someone would be interested in buying it. So as I said, HEX on Ethereum is still HEX. It's still the same HEX. It's the same HEX that is on PulseChain. The difference is that it's sitting on a different network. And that network is charging too much money for you to make a transaction with that coin at this time. All right, cool. But that still has nothing to do with the actual price movement or the price performance of that asset. Even though people can't do anything with staking right now, it is what it is. But as I mentioned, what if in the future Ethereum starts to lower the gas fees? What happens then? People revisit that HEX over there. Because like this is another thing also. Because HEX is sitting on Ethereum, more people have access to Ethereum at the current time because Ethereum is more popular than they do to the PulseChain and to the HEX ecosystem. HEX and PulseChain is new. A lot of people don't even, or they're not aware of it. It's not listed on these other centralized exchanges. We're DeFi. So there's an entire educational process that a person has to go through to even understand what it is. And there's plenty of information for somebody to learn, yes, but it's going to take time for people to actually learn and understand the difference between DeFi and what's over on Coinbase and all of these other exchanges where you can buy all of these centralized cryptos. And what I mean by that is that if you got your money sitting on them exchanges, what happens if something happens with the exchange? What happens if Coinbase puts a block on your account? What happens if they put a hold on your transaction? What happens if they put a limit on how much you can buy or how much you can withdraw? Sounds to me like they are controlling your money, not you. This is why DeFi is better. It's a better choice. It's a better option, period. And on the DeFi side, we have DeFi or decentralized coins. HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, Inc. This is all on the DeFi side where you hold your coins and you control your coins. You control your assets. You control your wealth, your money. You hold the keys to your wallet. Not Coinbase, not Kraken. Learn. You got to learn. All right, so this I must say is a very good stream. You guys need to watch this back and listen very closely to the things that I was saying throughout the stream. Just listen close. But yeah, so Walker, as I was saying, for the same $40 that you would spend to end your stake of 10,000 HEX, you could buy 13,000 HEX. So which one makes more sense to do? We're going to work smarter, not harder. We're going to work smarter. So the segment that I did where I explained what I'm doing with my HEX on PulseChain and how I'm using that to be able to get access to everything. I can send out long stakes. I can buy PulseX with it. I can buy HEX on Ethereum with it. I can buy Inc with it. I can buy Pulse with it. Shit, I could buy wrapped Ethereum if I wanted, or wrapped Bitcoin. I could buy any of these tokens on PulseChain. I can buy anything with my yield from HEX. So this is how I'm doing it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, I buy Pulse with that. Once I get my Pulse, I buy HEX with that on PulseChain. Once I get my HEX on PulseChain, that's going in my liquid bag. Every 30 days, I'm staking that. and I'm earning yield, then I take the yield that I earn, I take the interest that I earn, and I can buy more shit. Or I can send out long stakes every single month.
I'm focused, man.
See, people talk about passive income. What you think that is? It represents passive income because this is value that I'm in control of. Where the prices of these things gonna be years from now? Who the hell knows? Y'all don't know. I don't know. But I'm prepared for what I think it will do. And I think it will outperform what I'm thinking it's going to do. I'm thinking everything is going to outperform what everybody is thinking. That's what I believe. These next few years are going to be very interesting, to say the least. This bull cycle coming up is going to be interesting, to say the least. People talking about $1 HEX. All right. All right. Then if you see $10 HEX, then you be like, oh. You don't know what it's going to do. So just be prepared for just in case it does some other shit. That's how I look at things. I'll be prepared. And I'm going to be the owner. See, this is another thing with the mentality. It's like people don't understand markets. People are scared of the market. They get scared out of the market. They get scared out of their wealth. If you were buying, I'll give you an example. Remember earlier in the stream tonight where I was talking about what Bitcoin did? Bitcoin hit its all-time high in November of 2021. A year later, it hit the swing low in the same month, November of 2022. So it took a year to go from the high to the low. In a year. During that year, you could have been accumulating Bitcoin at the lower prices as it was going down. What was most people doing? They bought up here. They bought near the all-time high. So as it was going down, they were selling shit because they were scared. Selling it for less than they bought it for. Losing money. Makes no sense at all. When selling is not even something that you should be doing. You should be buying. Like, what are we talking about? So during that year, you could have been buying and accumulating it. From November 2021 to November 2022, you could have been building your bag. From the lows, you saw Bitcoin go from 15,000 to 20. You saw it go from 20 to 30. You saw all of this. It went from 30 to 40, then to 50, kept going, 60, hit 70 today. You think it's finished? Some people are talking about $1 million Bitcoin now. Could it do it? It could. But 100,000 is very close. 100,000 the first step. Might hit 150. Might hit 2. And see, the thing is that, all right, it's in the bull cycle, so it could go anywhere. Yeah. And guess what? If you were smart during the bear cycle, during that year when it went from the all-time high to the low, you were building the bag up. Sound familiar? HEX just dropped 70, 80% in price. And here I am over here talking about, hey, I might build my bag up bigger. Mark, what? But Richard Hart said that Well, Richard is not the market. He created it. He created HEX. You think that something that was created that works well and that has functionality and that has a purpose is going to just die just because of a tweet? Like, I'm just saying. I'm not suggesting that you do anything. But you need to think for yourself. You're in an ecosystem where there's opportunity all over the place. Everywhere. People talking about ink. The incentive token is a meme coin. It doesn't do anything. It's a reward for people that liquidity provide on PulseChain. That's all incentive token is. But incentive token, they're talking about, some people are saying that it's going to outperform everything. What if it does? I was on a stream, there was somebody talking about incentive token, can go to $1,000. I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn, I didn't even think about that at all. You know what? Let me just get some. You know what I bought it with? I bought it with some yield. I bought incentive token with yield from HEX. Come on, man. Come on.
Dom the Monko.
9,300 Pulse for 50,000 HEX. He said, best believe I indulge. Hey, like I said, man, this is why you got a brain. Your brain is there to function. Like, you can think. You can think for yourself. You can do constructive thinking. You can also think like an idiot. I would rather think constructively and think strategically. Like, wait, let me think about this. Like, you ever hear when somebody says, let me think about this? That's your brain trying to make sense of something so that you can execute on something. Use your brain, man. All right, let me get out of here. Y'all make sure that you'll watch this back. Watch the replay of this. This was a powerful HEX stream, for sure. A lot of y'all didn't get a chance to make it because of the time that I came on, but make sure that you catch the replay. All right? All right, man. So I'm out. Going to bed. I'm going to holler at y'all. Y'all know what it is. Mark Fuller, Team Alliance. So I will see y'all on the next one. I do have some market observations coming. I got some trainings coming. I got a training for NADEX. I got a training for Quotex coming. All right. I'm getting back in my little rhythm now for streaming. So I'll be around. All right. I know I haven't streamed in quite some time, but I'll be busy, man. Doing shit. I mean, look at the type of shit that I just showed y'all that I'm doing. This is the type of stuff I'm doing. Just pay attention. That's all you gotta do. Pay attention. All right, y'all, I'm out. Love, peace, and soul. Y'all know what it is. Deuces.
Dom the Monko.
Today, the hop, you don't stop. That's effects with the real hip hop. Today, the hop, you don't quit. That's effects in the game to rip shit. Today, the hop, you don't stop. That's effects with the real hip hop. Today, the hop, you don't quit. That's effects in the game to rip shit. Yo, well, on your market, get set. Can't forget to go. In case you didn't know, the flow is fat like Joe. Yo, you niggas didn't know that I'm back, man. You whack, man. I eat a rapper like I'm Pac-Man. I figured they bring it straight from the cellar. Farella, packable hits the Lupinella. I swallow. Nigga in his eye, if he test me, you don't impress me. Yo, books kick the rest, G. One time for your mom.